Hey, welcome to Gameweek. Welcome to the first live show of the year.
Yes.
Fantastic.
The year only starts when FPL starts, mate.
It does, mate. It does. And I'm so glad, couldn't make it last week. I was busy.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Game week 1 doesn't count. Game week 2 barely counts. Let's be honest here.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's
the Game weeks.
There's a guy on LinkedIn that creates some stuff. Jamie Cook, his name is, and I invited him on as a guest, and he's going to come on a future episode.
All right.
But he's going, I can't come on this week. I've only got 42 points. I'm like, don't worry about that.
So I'm gonna say my off-air statement again. The season starts because you're higher than us, right?
That's it. That's it. You'll find these shows happen very frequently if my form continues in that vein.
Well, that's just the thing, isn't it? I want to say as well. I mean, we did a couple of these last year, and there was some low key mockery of my team, especially from Nicola. I was really wanting to speak to him about this since because my league position was quite consistently above Nicola and yourself, Gethyn. To be honest, I mean, I don't want to.
Well, mate, I don't think I'm not ashamed to say it. My FPL season didn't start very well, and I did catch up a little bit towards the end.
You did.
But I had a lot of weeks where I picked the wrong captain, made the wrong transfers.
Yeah, for sure.
I had some quite terrible weeks in there. But Justin was, he was out for the SQLFamily title at one point. And you're not in that, Ben. You're in the Power BI League. You don't play in that SQLFamily sequel.
No, I'm not allowed in the SQLFamily once. I think it's due to my SQL skills, to be honest, and that's reasonable.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, fine, fair enough.
I can live with that.
But Justin, you were in the hunt all season, mate, weren't you? You faded fractionally towards the end. You had a bad week.
Petered off towards the end, and I can't even remember what it came in the end, but it wasn't. Yeah, I couldn't catch. I don't even remember who won it in the end.
It wasn't you, and that was.
That was it. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah. What I'll do? I'm just going to share my screen briefly.
I remember last year, I had with 4 weeks to go, I realized if I get 40 points, so which is low, for the final 4 game weeks, I would still just beat my overall best ever score. And then for the next 3 weeks, I got basically 41 points or something in the run. It was so close. Luckily, I had a good final game week.
My leagues, my game current rank in these leagues has never looked better. In truth,
that's pretty good.
After one game week, doesn't mean a thing.
Well, as a fan of Sunderland, I have to say I felt the same way about the actual league table. I've waited 9 years to see my team back in the Premier League, and I was last weekend. I was absolutely delighted.
Yeah, it was a great win for them last weekend, wasn't it?
Was insane.
Was it 3-0? Yeah, it was
3-0 against West Ham. Yeah. So I got to say that was the thing. I mean, getting the actual the point of game week 1 and the form, which doesn't really exist other than the first game. I wasn't unsure about West Ham. We didn't have a strong end this season. And what's his face, the manager whose name I always forget. That's the one. And but also in my first game week, the team that I felt most let down by was Everton because they were awful.
They disgraced themselves, didn't they? Absolutely disgraced themselves.
And I had Pickford and Beto in my team. I still do. So.
Well, I've got Beto still. So I was there's been a lot going on this week in transfers and stuff, hasn't it? So I last week I had Wirtz in right until the sort of deadline day, and I'm like, sometimes players take a little while to get used to the league, which is why I left Reijnders out at Man City as well, because he was such a bargain buy. And then I was in 5.5 million. But I was in New York last weekend, and when the Wolves played Man City, we got season tickets for Wolves. My wife went, and they said, "Oh, Man City were awesome." And that, the write-ups on that Man City player was, he's quality. So I bought him because I knew his price was going to go up, and so did a million other people this week. So I got in before the price rise, and he's now sat in my midfield. But now I've got Eze's clearly not going to play for Crystal Palace again, so he's not playing for Forest tomorrow or Sunday or whenever they play.
Yeah,
he could be playing for Arsenal, and I doubt he'll start for Arsenal this week. So I'm gonna have to bring Beto off the bench to.
Probably.
Yeah.
What you're doing? But
of course, are you changing?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube. Go find me on YouTube.
Why are you chasing?
Go and find me.
You're chasing those fancy teams, Rob.
Kind of. If she watches, we'll have someone watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got one now.
Sheila.
So I brought in Xander plays. He's got a team, and we were working on it earlier this afternoon. Nice. So we could make Haaland captain and stuff. But here's how my team's looking for this week. I haven't made any changes yet. I'm always like so. Last week, what I did last week with the new rules, I decided that it was wise to play the first bench boost last week. So that clearly helped me.
You played a bench boost in the first game week?
Yeah. Well, so you know the new rules, right? You know you got a set of chips for the first half. So my rationale was, I can pick this team and change it right up to the last minute without it costing me anything. And other times, I'm going to waste transfers on bringing in subs that are likely to play, right? So I thought, well, it'll save me having to mess around with that. So I was like, let's play that early. But I think to get through them all before Christmas, you're gonna have to play one every 4 or 5 weeks anyway.
Yeah, true.
And is it 5 subs? They've got 5 free transfers around game week 16, I think.
Really?
So, yeah, for the AFCON. So there's going to be players disappearing. Right, so everyone gets 5 free transfers that week. So that's like another little wild card for you to.
Sure.
For you to play, so I'm like, let's get the party started. So I did, and it got me 8 points. I didn't know what a good score was, and I've looked back at my previous years, and if I get about 10 points off the bench, I'm quite happy. There's not going to be a double game week, so I'm like, so I thought,
that's true.
Just get it out of the way. Not many others in the leagues I play in did it, but I think about 500,000 did.
The other, I think half of Friday, I had a bench boost team picked, but I must have gone through about 20 teams on Friday.
Yeah.
And I guess the other nuance to it, which is appealing, it's the only time technically you can play. It's like technically you play a wild card, and a boost at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Like literally, you get to pick the team that's going to be your bench boost.
Yeah.
See, that's what I missed. I missed that kind of thinking when I picked my team. I mean, like just general intelligence. That's actually a really strong point. You can pick exactly who's. I like that.
And that's why I did it. It didn't work out overly well. My keeper didn't play. But aside from that, they all did.
I mean, I guess the floor is who you picked, basically, Geth, isn't it?
Well, it wasn't. Yes, true, right? But all right. It got me 8 points, right? So it'll be interesting to see now. Now you've geared your team, right? Because normally I don't play. I don't know how you do it, Justin. I think you do it a little bit different to me, but I usually have a minimalist bench where there's literally no value on it. I don't care if they play, and I'm trying to get the 11 starters.
Oh, that's interesting.
All right. Now, to do the bench boost, you've got to be concerned with your bench. I'm like, well, if I do that first step, as I make tweaks and changes over time, I can. I might never ever swap out unless there's value on that bench that I can cash in, and I can probably get a cheaper keeper to release 500,000 for me to get someone else.
See, I'm always wary to have a really weak bench, especially when I have someone from City in my team, because I know Guardiola's going to fuck me over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
that's why I wanted that Reijnders, because if he scores points like that, he's going to play.
Yeah,
City haven't really got an 8 to compete with him, so he'll probably play a lot of games. And if he does get rotate, I will have I got Beto on the bench. It'll come in hopefully for Eze this weekend. And
fully agree with that.
So
I'll be honest. For the first 3 game weeks, I will pretty much make no substitutions. However, I had transferred in Reijnders before that match had even finished. I checked his price, and I was like, you know what, I'm doing it because if he doesn't play, he's cheap. I was really surprised. It's like 5.5 million. I mean, I guess he's more now, of course.
He's 5.6 now.
Oh wow, that's a crazy price. We'll get him in for that. No, that's a rip-off. Yeah, it's what's the max that you can go up in one game?
I think it's 1. I've only ever seen them going up in increments of 1.
Okay.
I don't know though either.
No.
I think they can.
Can they?
I cannot give you a categorical, but I'm pretty sure you can go more than 1 because I think isn't it extent? I'm not going to be able to pull that off.
No, I think it's possible for it to go more than 1, but it's not going to go up like £1 million in a week.
No.
But it can go very quickly on that. So if there's like, if you continue, imagine if he has another stormer this weekend, he'll be 5.7, 5.8 by.
Yeah, he's not going to stay. He's not going to. He will. He will increase quite quickly, I think, because he's.
Yeah.
He probably is going to be a more kind of rotation resistant player in that team, isn't he? Like, Guardiola's a nightmare in there. Like, I got stung by Foden. I don't know why I do it to myself, but pretty much every season, I pick Foden for a period of time and then he gets benched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but Foden had an off year last year, though, didn't he? He was pretty poor for a large part of that season. But Haaland, like, I think I stuck with him. I can't remember my team last year. I think I stuck with him for far too long because he didn't really. He had a lot of blanks across.
For like 40 million as well. It was really
yeah. But he's not going to be that bad again. So I picked him first up, but he's got to go in. And I'm like, and it worked. And I picked Salah again because he always scores on the first game week. And once you've got those in, then you've really got to stretch that money out, which is why I've got Eze and not Wirtz. And I got is it Zubamendi, the new Arsenal player? I don't like too many new people to the Premier League because I think sometimes you can take a while to settle in.
Yeah.
I wish I put Ekiteke in because he's taken to it like a duck to water.
I put him in. I was happy with that. I was like, I felt like a seasoned pro when I put him in there. I was like, oh yes, I put in a new person and he scored a goal. Check me out.
I was watching him in the Charity Shield and in the game last week. And I'm like, all this fuss around Isaac going to Liverpool. It's like if he carries on playing like that, Liverpool don't need him.
I don't get it at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I was
so much that nonsense going on.
I was a bit disappointed. So I picked Reijnders, but I couldn't decide with Ekiteke whether between him and I just went around the houses of some of the Liverpool players because
of course.
And in the end I picked because I had Wirtz for a bit and I think so I ended up settling with Salah and Gakpo, and Gakpo I picked because his pre-season was really good. Yeah, you look at I mean hindsight's 2020, isn't it? But like the first he looks like he's going to score a lot of goals at TT. But I haven't rushed him in because I'm not sure. Still, it looks I don't know what happens to him if they sign Isak. So
I actually started with Isak in my team, thinking that the transfer would have happened. And when it became obvious it wasn't going to happen, I'm like, I'll have to swap. So I'll get Haaland in. For this, because if it does go through, he's probably not starting. And as with 10 days to go in the current situation, I can't see it happening before the 1st of September. So I'm like you. I reserved judgment on Ekiteke for that reason, just because I'm like, well, if Isak does come in, then he's going to be on the. He probably will be on the bench, only the second striker.
But honestly, I have to say, in the first game week and still now, actually, I consider the biggest risk in my team was Cunha, because great player, but Man U, right?
Yeah,
and
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Right, so I wrote a piece on some of those transfers over the summer, just looking at the FPL data from last year. Yeah. And Cunha scored 15 goals for Wolves. He was brilliant for Wolves last year. As a season ticket holder for Wolves, he was a fabulous player. Right? Yeah. But he's very hot-headed. So he got sent off twice for, he had a 6-game ban in effect. So he scored 15 goals in 31 games. So that's a goal every of the game, if you look at it like that, just based off bans, and he had some injuries and stuff as well. His XG, so the goals he should have scored was 8, and Cunha, he scored 15, so he's punching well above what he should have done. So was Mboe, the Brentford guy. I think he scored 20 and his XG was 12. So if you look at what United have spent, which is 120 million on the two of them, they can expect to get a return of about 20 goals, which is probably about fair. So I don't think they've done their money, but I think it wouldn't be. They are clearly very good players, and Cunha in particular, I think, is very talented. That might return closer. The goals they score might return closer to the expected goals. Was my was my thinking. Yeah. So whether they get if they end up with 35 goals again, United will be very happy. But I think between them they might get 20. Which would be a good return for where they play. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? Just you're a Man United fan. Let's bring you in here.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'll keep my mouth shut. Sorry, Matt. I wouldn't fall in there knocking your team, right?
I'm used to the horrendous criticism we're getting. I mean, it's all justified. But yeah, I think you said 20 goals, and I'm looking at thinking, well, that's half our goals last season. I think.
Yeah. But you can expect Šeško to get. You've bought him to get 20 goals as well. So if you end up with your forward line getting 40 goals, that's pretty decent, and you'll end up scoring 60 goals. Which
I mean, I think these one games for single data point, and preseason doesn't really work the same. But they were really attacking against Arsenal. We had, I think there was something like 26 shots. It was very aggressive. It wasn't how we played football last year. You kind of feel sorry. I really kind of feel sorry for Haaland that he had to go through the last 2 seasons of, not producing chances. Where, single. I mean, as much as we lost the game, the performance was different to a lot of watching football. United games last season. So. Really aggressive on the front foot, and a lot of chances. So, I am currently reasonably optimistic about a better season. But it's been horrendous for decades.
And I think you should be, mate, because if we look at the XG for United, expected goal involvements 2.5. Conceded 1.3. They didn't score any, but you were expected to get a few goals last week. I think you were unlucky to lose against what I would describe as a rather stodgy-looking Arsenal team. I didn't really think, they're brilliant, but clearly they did enough to get the win, and. I think Arsenal have stuff to do as well. But I think you were unlucky to lose last week. I did laugh when Ruben Amorim came out and said, "I think this result proves we can beat everybody in the league." When you just lost 1-0, did make me laugh. But I got his point as well.
I think general consensus is that they were unlucky, though. They played pretty well. They were unlucky. Though I've got to say, I want to pick up on one of the things that Justin said there, which it started off like it was sounding confident, but it did. I'm optimistic about having a better season than last season. Yeah. Because otherwise it's just relegation at the end of the day. It's like me. I mean, as a Sunderland fan, it's like me saying I'm optimistic we'll have a better season than last season, because last season we're in a lower league. So even if we get relegated, it's essentially a better season than last season.
Did Sunderland Did they do the double promotion, mate? Did they? Was that their first season back in?
No.
Championship? No. Okay.
No, we forget how long we'd been. Yeah, a couple of years. I can't remember now, to be honest.
Right.
I think because we got. No, it wasn't promotion. Was it? I asked me that question, put me on the spot. I don't think it was.
I know. Because I had this feeling that they haven't long got out of League One, because they got double relegated, didn't they? They've done an Ipswich, not an Ipswich, a Luton, and they were in League One. And Cardiff didn't get a double relegation, but I think
we did got relegated twice. It was very upsetting. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
It was that year when there's a documentary about on Netflix, if anyone wants to feel our pain, Like it was that season where they made the documentary about us trying to get back. Yeah. Actually, have any of you seen this documentary on Amazon about the Birmingham and this Tom Brady, whatever he's called?
I haven't, you know. Player. Should I watch it? Is it any good?
It's hard to watch. I enjoy the one about Torquay, Wrexham, excuse me, not Torquay.
Yeah.
That's nice. But it just, Tom Brady just comes across like a complete bell end, to be honest. He just like every time he opens his mouth, I want to just punch him in the face. I mean, obviously, if I punch him in the face, it wouldn't hurt him, and then he would just pummel me and I would die. But like, you know what I'm saying? No, man. Can't be doing that to it. And it's honestly, when a documentary can actually create sympathy for Wayne Rooney, who was one of the worst managers in the history of football. You come out thinking, oh, poor guy. I mean, terrible manager, but Jesus Christ, you didn't deserve that. Like, pretty bad. Yeah. Have any of you actually got Sunderland players in your team, by the way?
I have. Let me show you.
Is it your bench fodder?
This is his players.
No, I took him out.
Remember him saying, Ben, it's the players who are never going to play, is what he said, wasn't it?
I know.
No, I'm not never going to play. I'm never going to have him in my team. I thought I had a Sunderland player in, but I must have swapped him out. I've got a Burnley player in. I've got a Burnley defender in.
I've got Mark Gooey or whatever, however that's pronounced.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get it.
So whether or not he's going to play or not, I don't know. But
I don't have any in my team, but just so you know, I want to get points this season. I am. I'm in a league.
Actually, so I was looking at the form then. There are some Sunderland players that you probably want, but I've forgotten where my reports put it.
Are you talking about form for this season?
Yeah. How they started last week, and I know it's not a lot to go on yet, right?
Well, yeah.
Give me some hope.
The player of the week was from Sunderland, wasn't he? The centre back, is it?
Yeah, I can't remember his name
though. Bayard or done a research here, right? What's his name? Bayard or something like that. Ballard.
Daniel Ballard.
Ballard, yeah, Ballard, yeah, for sure.
So he got 17 points.
He had a hell of a game. He was brilliant.
Right, he is on my little 4.6. He's gone up some value. He's going to cost me.
I can imagine. I think it's a bit dangerous sticking in players from teams like Sunderland or the newly promoted teams and what have you. But I don't know.
He would have been a good bench pick though for 17.
He would have been a solid bench pick for your bench boost, mate.
He would have been.
So, but
you've been laughing.
What I would say, and I didn't follow my theory here fully, but the defenders of the kind of like the teams coming up, in theory at least, should pick up a lot of the defensive contribution points because they're going to be defending for quite a lot of the game,
all
right?
the time. Yeah. But they get the clean sheet points, I guess. Is the
but if you kind of so I've got Roden who plays centre back for Leeds, so he picked up points. I didn't have him in my team, but I guess if they end up emergency substituting in,
you got some points off the bench. Yeah, I think because clean sheets are quite hard anyway. Even the best teams in the league, like Arsenal last year, I think were top of the clean sheets, 16. So that means in what's that? Can't do the maths very well, but probably 22 other games they conceded a goal. So they're always likely to. The chances are they're going to ship one. Yeah. So perhaps clean sheet points are not what to chase in those defenders, and perhaps that's the right approach because then you can load up on cheaper options and.
But this has been my logic with Pickford the past few seasons because Everton have been pretty crap, and Pickford's an amazing keeper, so he's had lots to do. That's why Pickford's always just scored so highly. So in a way, if Everton are pretty crap again this season, and Pickford keeps being as good the keeper that he is, you kind of.
I had the same logic in picking Kelleher. How good he was for Liverpool last year when he had to stand in. Yeah, he's going to be number one at Brentford. He's going to play every week. He'll probably have lots of saves to make. But Brentford traditionally have been quite good defensively as well. So, as of Everton, but but I've had Pickford for years and years. I just wanted to save some money. I used 5 million this year, so Didn't go for it.
It feels like this season though there's more things to not know about than usual. I mean, maybe it's just me, like like Spurs with the new manager and all the changes of Isaac, where is he gonna go? And then easier going here, and then have you seen this news just about what's his face at Forest?
The manager going, yeah. He's noises like that don't normally mean he's going to be there for very long, does it? So
that's crazy. Talking about a complete breakdown of relationship with the owner. It's like, you should be like paying him whatever he wants to say, man.
Well, yeah, but like that, like, do you remember they were falling? Sky had a falling out with that owner through Gary Neville in particular.
Yeah,
what he did to Nuno on the pitch at the end of last season.
That was mental.
Oh, contributed to it, right? It's bound to have contributed to it. Even though he brushed over it at the time, I suspect it has. It's that has caused it, I suspect.
Yeah.
I'm just like summarizing, but
I think you're right, though. It's an exceptionally unstable season, isn't it? Like there's all sorts of like U-turn transfers. People have been, like we had this situation where, I mean, Wissa and Isaac have both basically have stopped playing football for their team. You've got Chelsea buying half the world, and then changes in structure of side. Like Eze going to Spurs, and all of a sudden he's at Arsenal instead. But the amount of signings that are coming in, like this, it's an exceptionally busy. Like,
and then look, I mean,
it was much clearer. I felt much clearer about like what we were going to do.
Yeah.
Whereas it is a bit chaotic right now, isn't it?
And they got like Brentford. I feel so bad for Brentford fans. They got the manager who's never been a manager before after losing a brilliant manager, and then you got two of the best players off.
But not even that. He was the throw-in coach. That's what he was coaching. He was coaching throw-ins.
Really?
Yeah.
God, I wish there was some throwing points for an FPL, because then I would get into.
Honestly, he's like, I think he had involved. I can't believe I might be remembering this wrong. I thought he had some involvement with Man United at some point as well. Might just be something I've made up.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't even think like he was. I think he was a specialist coach as opposed to like, assistant manager or whatever.
Yeah, I got you.
Set piece coach, wasn't
it?
Yeah. Nah.
No, but Brentford's quite a. But yeah, I feel
my ambitions this season, I got to say, have changed. So the season before last season, I was this close to getting most of the points. I was like, oh, I've got it. So last season I got most of the points, and this season, though, for the first ever time, I'm in a league with my brother, and three of my nephews,
right.
So all I want to do is beat my brother. my brother knows a lot more about football than I, because this is where for me it's difficult, because when I pick my team, and I know a bit about football, I follow it, I enjoy watching it, and I have my Power BI report, which is completely useless, of course, in the first couple of weeks. But then you got people like Justin saying like, oh yeah, like our preseason was really good. Like I've got no idea what happened preseason. Like I've got no idea. So I'm
a bit more like you in that regard, but I don't follow pre-season all that closely. Yeah. But what I've done this year, I've been reading, like I've subscribed to The Athletic, so I've just been reading the reviews. I don't watch the games, but just read what people have written about it. So I've got a little bit more. I feel like I've got a little bit more knowledge of pre-season, but I don't think pre-season means an awful lot necessarily, because Ollie Watkins was smashing him in for fun pre-season, and he blanked last week. I haven't ditched him yet, but if he doesn't pull his finger out, he'll be up the road.
Yeah, for 9 million you got him, man. I was agreeing on that one, because I think I watched a lot of football last weekend, a lot more than I usually do. I was like, first game of the season, let's try and watch quite a few matches here. And Villa were not good against against Newcastle. Yeah, that's right. They were
Newcastle
pretty
0-0.
uninteresting. Yeah,
they didn't look like scoring Villa, in fairness.
No. And you got Spurs won 3-0, right?
Spurs won 3-0 there. Spurs won 3-0, but have had a terrible week. They lost their signing of Eze to Arsenal. I think that's.
Love it. Yeah. But yeah, I'll see. I'll try my best to beat my brother, and I don't want to completely crush my nephews. That would be mean. But still want to beat them. If you look at the game week history, I've got like 15 years of game week history, and they've got like 1. I was like, I have to show some kind of dominance here. You know, I mean, it'd be so embarrassing if I got my ass kicked and I've been playing for 15 years.
It can happen though, can't it? It can happen. It's like I got lucky this week with my even though I took my bench boost off, I'd have had a good week compared to the other people I played with. And I think sometimes that's, you're only as good as your last game week, and it could all change this weekend. I could end up with 30 points and or less, which is it's not unheard of for me. And
fair enough.
I'll be back where I belong in the mid-table.
Yeah, I think I got 54 points in the first week. It's okay, a little better, but I guess we'll see.
You're behind the curve. I always my target each week is like 65 points.
That's reasonable.
That's right. If I get above that, I'm happy, and if I get less than that, I'm not. So last week was a good week.
The global average was 54, Ben. So basically, you were average last week.
That is basically how I try to pursue everything in life, mate. Can I just be average? If I'm at least I'm coasting through average, then no one's going to complain too much, right?
Yeah.
Don't get too good. People expect too much of you, so you got to really find your balance there,
So 65 is my sort of that's what I aim for every week. But then it's just beating. You want to be above the global average. So you're making up points on people.
I normally aim for 100 points every game week. It's really I think it's what my ambition is.
I think I can count on all my fingers if I've ever got 100 points in any 10 game weeks. I don't think I have.
I think I got more than 100 points, maybe 3 times ever, something stupid like that. You know what I mean? I think other than even probably when I play triple captain, because every time I go through all these bonus, what they call the chips and stuff, it's really which game week can I use my triple captain in? And essentially what I'm asking myself is which game week can I waste my triple captain in? Because it never ever worked out. And though it's cool this season that we have the first half of the season, the second half of the season, triple captain actually becomes more difficult in the first half because there's going to be no double game weeks. There's no double game weeks in the first half of the season, right? So you just got to think, okay, who are they playing? And then you got to think more intelligently, like Justin can, because he knows about football. Oh, this person against this team, and his manager gave him a good pep talk, all this kind of stuff that I've got no idea about. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to say, okay, probably that game. That'll do. That's close enough. And then see what happens, to be honest. It's all good. That's all I do at the end of the day.
I mean, for all the kind of theory, though, football is a chaotic game, isn't it? It is a game of chaos. And you just, you look, there was a game week last year, wasn't it, called Palmer scored 4 goals in a game? How do you even land that? How do you even walk into that going, oh, I feel that's going to, that's it, that's what's going to happen today.
Yeah, but that's just, look, someone would have triple captained in that week because they'd have fancied
that's going to be more likely to be somebody who's gone, eeny, meeny, miny, mo than somebody who's done the research of, the temperature and do you know what I mean? It's it's not going to be a theory.
It reminds me, I used to work back in a long time ago when I still lived in the UK. I used to work in in bookies for William Hill, And I remember there was one person saying he hated the Grand National so much because he said, I'm a gambler, I know about horse racing, And the thing is with the Grand National, I'll spend weeks studying form, who's ridden what, all the type of stuff. Yeah, but then some random granny will walk in and pick the same person because they like the color of the jumper that they're wearing, and they'll win and I'm lose and I'm out of pocket. And he said it's so random when it kind of comes that sort. And it's the same with FPL. You can study all you want, and someone's like, that one he'll do, and stick him in, and there you go, 120 points straight away.
I have this guilt, this thing that I do tend to find myself doing, which is I'm always looking at who's ended up on the game day with the highest score, and you just look at it and you think it'll be one week that they triple captained Wan-Bissaka and he's had a hat trick, and you just think, well, how have you the randomness of you getting that score, the amount of times that the highest score of the week is just the most random thing is ridiculous.
Yeah, but the thing is though, people who get those highest scores, they're not always very good, are they? If you go and look at
you're right. Yeah,
it's because he's probably Wan-Bissaka is a West Ham fan and he's gone, oh, I'm just going to do that this week because I think he's going to get a lot of goals. There's going to be no logic behind it.
No.
So to win an FPL,
it does cement the point, right? Like it isn't. If somebody has gone, I know. It's not a form pick. It could be as random as I like Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I'm having Musaka for tea or something, isn't it?
Yeah. I remember I was doing a session for this one in Fabric February up in Oslo. I was putting a presentation together for one of the sessions, and the session was called "Your Report Looks Boring and Nobody Cares," right? And it's basically about how you don't have to really create a report that's visually beautiful. It just has to be like really quite plain and with good insights. And as I was going through it, I would, of course, for most times, I'll just use my FPL data because it's easy, you have access to it, and all right. And as I was putting this together, I was creating a visualization that I'd never really done before. And I suddenly realized that if I went through all the game weeks and I checked who'd scored the most points of those game weeks, very, very often, it was someone who'd been selected by like 1.2% of global FPL players. It's actually not that often that the people who are the most picked are actually getting the most points.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they're not doing that every single week. They're just having a randomly really good game week.
Yeah.
And I'd never really thought about that before, but it's true. I went through and it was like, I think it was like 50, like 10 of the game weeks, which I think is quite a high number. It was some random person who just no one had in their team had an absolute, like, for example, you mentioned already the Sunderland player, Ballard.
Yeah.
And it's some defense, 17 points for some random defender from a newly promoted team against West Ham. Like, I wonder who had him in.
One triple captain. Yeah, if anybody.
Yeah. And I wonder if anyone triple captained them. Yeah, there has to be someone globally who triple captained them,
Accidentally, maybe. Is. Yeah. Pushed the button by mistake.
Yeah. Well, it was probably like Ballard's parents who done it. You know what I mean?
I reckon that happens as well.
Yeah, it's mad.
Who else played well last week?
A lot of fun.
That's
the fun of it at the end of the day, because you can. One of the reasons I play FPL for the most part is just to make football a bit more interesting. I like football, but like I can go through, and I'm not a massive fan. I'm not gonna one of these players who gonna get anything tattooed on my body, or like I'm not gonna care too much if something happens. Like this documentary back in the day of Sunderland, and there was one saying they was talking about the Newcastle Sunderland rivalry, and they had these Newcastle fans who wouldn't eat anything red because of Sunderland. They wouldn't eat tomatoes and stuff, and Sunderland fans who would never eat Sugar Puffs for the rest of their life because in the 90s Kevin Keegan was in the Sugar Puffs advert. All this type of stuff. But with FPL, it just keeps it more interesting. So I can go through and I can watch a game and I can say to myself, "Oh, I was going to put him in." When actually I was going to put literally everyone in. I've checked every single player who exists in fantasy football. I convinced myself I was like this close.
It does make games that you otherwise wouldn't be interested in a little bit more interesting without
That's the most concise way of what I was saying. Thank you.
Yeah.
My ability to ramble over a very, very simple point is unsurpassed.
I will probably enjoy the football this evening. Just looking out to see how Wan-Bissaka is doing. Now I've benched him. You'll probably have a storming game this evening.
Yeah.
And
maybe I'll triple captain him in that case.
Yeah. Oh, we got a hi from Ravi. Hello, Ravi. Hi, mate.
Everything all right then, mate? How you going? Hello, Ravi.
So there's two things that I'm thinking. So are we thinking about next game week, right? One of the things that's on my radar is, and this is off 2 games, so not a huge amount of data points to kind of get it. But I'm suspicious about Salah's ability to get a massive haul this season. I'm not sure. I'm not sure Liverpool are going to play. I think Liverpool's game is going to change slightly this season. That doesn't see this huge reliance on Salah for points, and I'm not sure. where they need to be, like it's normally Salah or Haaland, right? And so that I have Salah at the moment, but I'm not sure. What do you reckon?
He got his goal last weekend, didn't he? In injury time. And I think, as you say, he's still, his fitness and age probably not an issue at the moment, but over the season perhaps that might be, particularly if he goes and plays an international competition in the middle of winter. And like you said, I have this sneaking suspicion that Liverpool's goals are going to be a little bit more distributed around than they have been. Than they have been over the last few years. So I tend to agree with you, Justin, in truth, and I'm going to watch that as well.
It's also just, I suppose it would be like the responsible thing to do from the manager as well, given the fact that he's in footballing terms he's pushing on towards, and also he kind of almost left, and you kind of want to rebuild the squad around something that's going to be a bit younger, who's going to be there.
He almost left. They wanted to keep him so they could have the continuity of him being there while they brought all these, these starlets in. And I think particularly if they get, Eketeke's doing very well. If they do get Isak, I think Salah's goals might come down. I still think his assists will be there, but he's a very expensive, person for assists. Then,
Isak. This is the thing. I think there's been there's a bit of a panic with transfers after this first game week, but I am currently waiting to see what happens with Isak, because I think Isak coming in just completely changes the landscape, doesn't it? If they get him too, I can't imagine that I'll end up keeping Salah, because I just can't see how he's going to end up in the same. And of the two, so Ben, you and I have both got Salah. Gethyn's got both, so he's kind of edging his bet.
I've got Salah and Haaland.
Yeah.
I had Isak right up until probably the day before the deadline. I'm like, this is he's not going to play for anybody here, so let me just get rid of him. And I brought Haaland in.
Yeah.
Have you made any changes this week, Justin? Sorry.
No.
Have you made any transfers this week?
Well, I'd picked my side with the idea that I wouldn't make a transfer this week.
Yeah.
And I'd picked my side for the first two game weeks so I could get like a buffer for where things are. And then Conte got himself sent off.
Right.
And
ruined that.
So that's unhelpful for me trying to. So I am my bench then. So to replace him, I either put in Wan-Bissaka in or Roden. Now Roden's playing Arsenal, so that's not happening.
Wan-Bissaka's got Chelsea.
Yeah.
And West Ham with Paul.
Yeah. So it's either I concede the points or I do make a transfer this week. But that'll be it. If I do make a transfer, it's just going to be to add another defender in. But I'm on the fence at the minute.
You haven't got a long way. Was it another hour?
No,
You both went early with Reijnders, didn't you?
Yeah.
I don't normally do that. I'm normally like you. I'm waiting for this, so I've got all the information on the team week.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to pay more for him, so I didn't have any money to swap him out. So,
of course. Yeah.
I forget who I transferred out actually, but by doing that, I freed up because I had like 0. I swapped my foot for Tonali. I had Tonali in, and I didn't really like the look of Newcastle and whatever. Not really sure, but also it was like 2.5 million I was saving. I was like, okay, so frees up to make some changes in a couple of weeks as well.
Yeah.
Who did you swap out, Gav?
Dewsbury Hall I picked at Everton.
Okay.
And they weren't playing until Monday night. I wasn't waiting till then. I'm like, he was just for like cost, and
he was.
It turns out Dewsbury Hall was rubbish on Monday. So
I was curious as well because I was obviously when watching City play, they were looking good and what have you, and there was all that talk last season about of course City missing Rodri so much. And I was like, yeah, they did, but it was also a combination of missing Rodri, but also just missing like peak. What's his face? His name's dropped out my head straight away.
Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, peak De Bruyne. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So if you're filling in that gap, I think it's the City are going to have always going to have a good season and get points. But just what they were missing, you know what I mean? Just the way they looked, the way they were playing, could be quite cool. So I've just read something. I've got the news, and someone just saying, is Game Week 2 a good week for a free hit?
No,
because of who City are playing. No, it's someone playing Leeds or what have you. Yeah, like basically Haaland bring in. I was like, fuck, I don't know. Game Week 2 for free hit does seem too early to me. I'm sorry. Like I can understand like triple captain and stuff, but free hit.
A long time ago, my history's on. I don't know what's happening with my FPL history, but I used to play. I don't know if I've changed profiles, but I haven't got my. But yeah, there was a time where my tactic used to be get wildcard second week, just to reset things.
I could see wildcard. I just don't understand free hit. That's the thing.
Oh, free hits, you said. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Wildcard I can understand for sure because it's like, all right, I see what's going on, and
yeah. Have we got 2 of them as well, Gaff? Free hits?
Yeah. Okay. So it's a free hit this week. You have one to use. So it'll be good, like, let's say you're loaded up with Liverpool and Man City when they play each other. You might want to go like, okay, there's only one team's going to win and they're only going to score a couple of goals each, so we need to spread that out a bit perhaps. So, it'll be handy to have.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you haven't really got long-term planning going on if you're thinking about free hit second.
Free hitting, because you're going to end up with the same rubbish team next week.
Yeah. Are you guys going to miss the manager trip this season? Did you?
No.
Did you enjoy it last season?
I didn't really know.
No.
I didn't enjoy it at all, in truth.
It was, of course, helpful for the extra points. I didn't like the fact that you had to pay for it. Like, you had to have money in the bank. You had to, like, free your money from your squad. That didn't make sense to me, you know?
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, I did it almost straight away, got it out of the way and forgot about it. But I don't think I missed it. I don't know whether I don't know how I feel about the massive kind of increase in transfers and stuff. And maybe I don't think, because I guess there's 2 sides to it, right? Which is either I looked at that and thought, well, there's less planning involved if you've got a ton of transfers getting thrown in all the time, right? So if there's a wild card in over the winter and the AFCON 5 and whatever else, then there's a lot, there's a lot more just randomness of like when you decided to do things.
Yeah.
Versus a lot of like strategic stuff. But actually, the other side to it, conversely, I guess, is if there's a lot more randomness maybe to what people are picking and what sides you end up with. There's almost, I think a lot of seasons you end up with almost like a carbon copy, like these 15 players are the top leader.
The template of the players who score those points, and people converge on it.
Yeah.
So I think they've done it, because I think if you still have that strategic take on it, I think you will still do better than people that rely on the randomness. But FPL is a grind, isn't it? Right. So I think people drift out of the game. We start with about 10 million this week or last week. And there'll be about 3 or 4 million active managers by the end of the season because people would have just drifted out and lost interest. I think this is intended to keep the interest, because it's like, I played all my chips, because people, who are new to it might go and play them straight away and then they've got nothing else to look forward to. Or people just get bored saving them up for double game weeks. And it takes that out of it. So it's like, it's not as many double game weeks as there once was. So these chips are probably not as valuable as they were for those weeks. And you've still got them for the end of the season. So I don't think I was actually interested how much what's your best chip that you've played and got the most points from, because I was quite happy with 8 from my bench last week. It would have been nice if it was 28, which I think I've probably got up to about 20 off a bench boost previously with double game weeks. But I'm like, I'm all right with 8 for going into a run of 19 games. It's not going to be a double game week. Someone might do, they might get lucky and do very well, but I'm like, let's get it played out the way. Yeah.
The one change I really enjoyed last season was the accumulation of transfers instead of just stopping at 2 or whatever it was, that you could just save them up. Because that really, it's like, if you're a person who like plans and builds up a decent team, you're going to get that advantage because you're waiting and you're saving. And because it was you guys who told me about the whole transfer for AFCON, I actually don't like that. I like the thought that if you'd planned and knew AFCON was going to be there, you could save up for a few weeks and then have those transfers, and that gives you an advantage. The fact that everyone gets those transfers, whether you've planned or not, kind of. I know it's nice to like level the playing field a little bit, but it's nice when it's not. It's nice when you put in the effort, you're actually thinking about it. You have that advantage, you know.
Yeah.
So, but is that still the case this season? You can still accumulate more transfers. That's good. Yeah. But still, I don't. I think maybe this is. I'm just repeating Justin's point. Apologies if so, but like basically, you got your 2 wild cards. You got your accumulation of transfers. Plus, you got your 5 for AFCON. It's like, okay, calm down. That's too many. I don't need that amount, you know. I don't know.
But like the people going for their wild card this week, they only got 14 more game weeks, and they get the 5 for that tournament. I guess as more and more of these, obviously AFCON's always been in the middle of the season. But the World Cup is likely to be in a couple of years as well, I think, when it heads off to the Middle East. So I guess they're just trying to keep people's interest. And I've lost half my team here. I'm like, oh. But then, as you say, if you put some thought into it, it's like if you've watched football, you know it's coming. It'll be mentioned every week on TV. So it's like, I need to save some players up.
And also, I'm probably just being a bit of. I'm maybe just being a bit of a grumpy knob, to be honest. I think it's just a game and everyone's trying to have fun. It's like, calm down, Ben. Yeah. It's like, I want the advantage because I planned more. Well, then don't plan more. Go out and have some fun.
You don't have to just flip a coin in it. But like the way I looked at it, because I was kind of like, where will I use these things? You know, like you've got this wild card that you've got to play between now and. The Christmas break, or the
you don't have to play it, Justin. You can let it go by the wayside.
Well, you can. You don't have to use it, right? But okay. But there is some kind of element of if you don't use it, it feels like it's wasted, isn't it? But for me, where I see that best use is. In the next couple of weeks when the transfer window closes, because I think then we'll have a much better right. This kind of idea right now, of is Isaac moving, is Wissa moving, who else is going where? What does Spurs' team look like, right? There's still way too many variables, and I think the new signings as well, like Gyökeres and Šeško. They were never going to hit the ground running, really. I don't think, but a couple of weeks of just seeing how things pan out, I think that's going to be the best time. That's where I'm thinking I'm going to use mine is after the
transfer window close. I'll probably wait for at least the first international break. My normal plan with the first wild card was always in between or in and around the second and third international breaks. But I think with the readjustment of transfers and things, let the transfer window close, get that international break out the way, and then see who's fit and who's not.
But to what Justin said, that's actually a good point, because I said myself that I found this season there were more variables than usual. So after the transfer window closes and all sorted out, that's actually a good point, mate. That's a prime time to at least look at it. And thinking about it, in my first for the first half of the season, with that wild card that's always been there, I really don't think I've ever had to change more than like 3 players, to be honest. I usually use it around about Christmas before the football goes absolutely mental. And just to kind of get my squad in order to see who's going to be playing most games. And with when you got that brilliant period when opposed to players are always complaining, it's like, there's like 5 games in like 3 days and it's fucking brilliant. It's a great time to play it, because again, it just makes it more interesting, But as a wild card, doesn't not really need it from mine anyway, but that's a good tip, Justin. So when that transfer window is closed, when he sees what we see, give out information. I like it a lot. I appreciate it.
So Ben, you brought in Reijnders, I brought in Reijnders. Justin, you're undecided on swapping out Conser. No chips this week for either of you two.
Good point.
No chips. You're not benching your boost.
I'm not making chip changes. I don't think. I think No, there's no. So no. What about captains then?
Captain,
Who's your thoughts for captains this week?
Haaland, I've gone through.
I'm sticking with Salah, to be honest. I don't like making a lot of changes in the first few. It really was an exception. Normally I touch nothing, but I'm
Mine
sticking
was
with
a
Salah.
plan. I when I put Haaland in, I was looking at it, and Spurs at home, you'll probably get a hat trick. Salah going to Newcastle, there'll be Ferry up there. It'll be awful up there for Liverpool next week, given all that's gone.
Yeah, it's always a good game, though, isn't it?
It's always a great game, yeah. So I've moved it to Haaland for this week.
I think it's going to be hostile. Like,
yeah,
that game could. So that there is this. I mean, you try and paint a picture of what's going to happen. There's a view in my head of like the game ends up with Newcastle getting red cards.
Yes.
I mean, because it's hostile, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have got the luxury of choosing. So I picked Salah with this game week. Sorry, Saka with this game week in mind. So he's in my team, and they've got Leeds at home. So he's on the captaincy at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, that makes interesting.
Who've you gone for, Ben? Who's your captain?
Yeah, like I say, I'm sticking with Salah.
You're sticking with Salah.
I'm sticking with Salah. I know because it's one of those things. I could change it. I could get more points, but then Salah just get to go. I'm sticking.
You know, that's what the game's about, right?
I know. Yeah, but I mean, I could stick in, Reijnders or whatever he's called. Is it Reijnders? Is what it's called? Yeah. Against Spurs, you get something. I don't know, but it'll be fine for a few weeks. And if he's not, as you mentioned, if he's not getting the points that he once was, I'll look to change it. But right now,
well, he got his points last week, and
he did. He made me work for them. He made me wait for them, I should say, like 94th minute, whatever it was. Like, Jesus Christ, man.
He's still got
him. I should get more points for that. You know what I mean? Just the excitement of it all. Really random question for the both of you. I'm thinking because I was talking to one of my mates the other day about transfer prices and what have you, and I realized you only have one of those moments when you realize that you've essentially become your own dad or your own parent or whatever. And I always used to take the piss of my dad because he was every time we talk about transfer, he'd be like, oh yeah, because this player's going for that, and Trevor Francis going for 1 million. It was the first ever 1 million. I was all right, Dad. No worries. And I do the same now. Like every single transfer price, I always compare to Alan Shearer for 15 million at Newcastle. That's for some reason that just anchored itself in my head as that's the go-to. Oh, this person's worth 110. But back in the day, Shearer was worth 15 million. Do you have like a transfer like that as well? That always like you always go back to?
I think mine would have been Chris Sutton. He went to Blackburn for 5 million, and they went on to win the league. That's the one that always sticks in my mind as being he was the most expensive British player at the time. Then there was Cole, then there was Shearer. But the Chris Sutton one is the one that sits in my head.
Makes sense.
For that moment, it's like 5 million, and he was on 5 million. He was £5 million and £5,000 a week. I can remember the contract. I'm like, blimey, 3 years.
I love that. It's incredible. Yeah. I think I saw someone posted that 40 million is the new 7 million, and that's like the average of like a really average player who's kind of okay is like 40 million. That's what it is now.
50 million's the new 3 million from back in my day. You know what I mean? What about you, Justin? Any of those transfers in your the sticker?
Well, I think the one that was just as a mad thing. I mean, for me, the one is Cantona going to United for something in the region of £1.2 million.
That was
just wild, isn't it? But
I think even then that was considered low, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that was low at the time, of course. Yeah. But I mean, the one blockbuster. I mean, in school, for me, the blockbuster one was Andy Cole going to United for 7 million. That was the one.
And you had Kevin Keegan having to placate the Newcastle fans on the steps of St James's Park. Yeah,
but it is remarkable. I mean, I was talking to some friends the other day just as how wild things are. That I think it was the Bournemouth had just signed Bendo from Liverpool, or at least we're trying to, who is a youngster who's never played in the Premier League, and it's Bournemouth who are like, they're not a flashy team, and they've spent like £5 million on him, and it's just the transfer market is having this, it's just lost control, hasn't it? Just Bournemouth casually splashing 25 million on a player who's never played in the Premier League. It's just
when they've got a ground that can only hold 10,000 people.
Yeah. So there you go.
Right,
yeah,
guys.
It's going to be an interesting Gameweek for sure. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good weekend. Guys, we've been going an hour. It's probably time to call it quits. I see our numbers have dropped to 1. We were up at least 4 or 5 at one point. You are still that one person. Hope your game week goes well.
It's your daughter in the background, mate.
It's my son. Yeah. It's my son.
Yes, son, sir.
He's not watching us, mate. He lost interest about 45 minutes ago.
Oh, love it.
All right, guys, awesome stuff. Well, let's call it a day. They will come back next week or sometime soon to
sounds like
revisit the tables when we've got a bit more data as well.
Hey, but we'll come back when I'm top of the league, all right?
Yeah, okay, mate. Well, all right, yeah, perhaps. More like when Justin's top of the league, I reckon. But there we go.
Awesome.
Right. All right, guys. All right, guys, I'll drop off.
See you.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye.